What's up guys, it's Aaronitmar. So I am asked all the time about what I think of this character or that character for Smash, that it actually got me thinking about who you want for Smash. So I took to Twitter and I simply asked one question. Tell me one character who's from a video game that you would like to see in Super Smash Bros. And the response was overwhelming. Literally to the point that I cannot even read all of the tweets that I received. Twitter stops loading. I think we capped out somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000, but I got way more replies to that tweet than I think I've ever gotten to any tweet ever. So as a result, I wanted to take some of the big names, the big hitters that I saw on that tweet, and talk about my thoughts on them for Smash. I'm not going to talk about all of them because, like I said, I literally can't, but I'm just going to talk about some of the names that stuck out to me as being repeats. You know, a lot of people seem to want this character and they want to speak up about it, so I'm going to specifically talk about those characters. Now, as a reminder, because I know someone's still going to ask, here is my fighter pass. Here are my top 6 that I want in Smash personally. I've made a whole video on this before, so if you haven't seen that, please go and check it out, because in this video I'm not going to be talking about all those characters. Now, both Crash and Sora were heavily supported in the response to my tweet. A ton of people said they wanted both of those characters in the game, and I am of course on your team. But because I've already talked about them in my Fighter Pass 2 video, I'm not going to go into detail here because I don't want to just be repeating myself. Also, quick disclaimer, I am super not picky when it comes to characters in Smash, so I feel like I'm about to say I'm cool with them in Smash overall, but those are just my top 6. You know, my Fighter Passes, those are my top 6. I would want those characters, but I'm pretty chill with any character we get in the game. So with that, let's start with a big one, which is Rayman. Now, Rayman would be awesome in Smash. I think he definitely has earned a place in the Gaming Hall of Fame, and Smash has kind of become representative of the Gaming Hall of Fame, so it would be no surprise to me if he got added to the roster. And frankly, ever since the Smash 4 fake leak that Artsy Omni made that said that Rayman was going to be DLC, I have been completely on board with the idea of Rayman being in the game. Now, I know there's that meme about Rayman basically being a second ARMS rep because he has the literal same amount of range as an ARMS character would have, but I think that they could do some cool things with it and not make it pretty much just a derivative of what we have for Min Min. I could imagine one move being as long range as Min Min's, but he's got a lot more than that to actually pull from. Now, I know some of you are going to say that Rayman being in Brawlhalla means that he can't be in Smash, but I just don't think that the appearance of a character in one game impacts whether they can appear in another game. Ryu, for example, is in tons of games. Too many games to count, but he's still in Smash alongside Ken. So I just don't think that it has any kind of impact at all. And whether or not Rayman gets in, I don't think Brawlhalla sort of put the shackles on him. And I mean, he's just been so close to being in the game. He's been a Spirit in Ultimate and a trophy in Smash 4. He's just so close that if they finally said, all right, it's his time, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And it would just make sense. And speaking of another character who is a Spirit, let's talk about Shantae. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a ton of experience with Shantae, even when it comes to her newer games. It's just never been a series that I have personally dipped my toes in. But based on everything that I've looked into for Shantae, I think that she has an amazing potential for a moveset. She uses actual martial arts, she uses magic spells, and she has a really cool transformation mechanic where she can turn into a bunch of different animals. And I think that would be an amazingly creative moveset if they were to somehow implement all of those things. I mean, an animal transformation thing would be something we have never seen before, at least I don't think. And Way Forward, the company who creates the Shantae games, is not unfamiliar with working with Nintendo. I mean, they recently just announced that the very first Shantae game for the Game Boy Color is not only coming to Switch, but also getting a full Game Boy Color reproduction. Like, we're actually getting a Game Boy Color game released in 2020. So I think they love the sort of cult following that Shantae has had, and I don't think that Nintendo is any kind of stranger to this, and so if they wanted to reach out and say we'd love to put Shantae in the game, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And hey, I am all for more female representation in Smash. And Shantae has had fan support for years. Since Smash 4's DLC, Ultimate's Reveal, Ultimate's DLC, Shantae has always been a big name in the discussion from fans for who should be added to Smash. And of course, everyone thought they saw that Smash logo in that Shantae trailer, and that just sort of rekindled and gave them more hope than they know what to do with. So I think Shantae would be cool, and I know that the fans would love it. Now let's talk about Reimu from the Touhou Project series of games. Now back for Fighter Pass 1, we had a leak that said that Reimu was going to be added to the game, but it was really just kind of propagated by word of mouth. You know, someone just said, hey, I'm making a song for Reimu, it's gonna be for Super Smash Bros. Don't tell anybody, but actually tell everybody. And obviously nothing came of that, it ended up not being true. But I think for a lot of people, this kindled something that they hadn't thought of before, which is the possibility of Reimu actually being in Smash. I mean, I hadn't heard of this character having support as a Smash fighter, and now I hear about it all the time. So I think that fake leak actually did some good for the character in the series because it actually got people talking about it in a way that I have never seen online before. Now this is another series I'm not personally attached to, but I have seen footage and I think it seems fun. But the bigger thing I think is the music, because that's apparently Touhou's claim to fame, is just how good the music is. So I don't know that I'd like to see a full character, but that doesn't mean I don't want to see Touhou in Smash at all. I think it's a little too niche to sell as one of the 6 precious Fighter Pass spots, but I think including it as a Mii Fighter costume, bringing along a track or two, I think that that would be perfect. You know, give it the Sans or Cuphead treatment. You know, those games definitely have their niche, whereas worldwide it's not as recognized as like a Mario. But I think that as a Mii Fighter skin and as a song included, I think that that would just be the perfect level of representation for Touhou. Now let's talk about a big one, and that is Minecraft Steve. So I have not been shy about not wanting Steve in Smash, but it wasn't because I didn't want Steve in Smash, if that makes any sense. It's because I was worried that between Banjo, Master Chief, and Steve, only one of them could get that top spot. And so I was very worried that Banjo would not be included in the roster, and so I was anti-Master Chief and anti-Steve for that reason alone. But now that we have Banjo, I'm totally on board with both Master Chief or Steve, and Master Chief is of course on my Fighter Pass too. Of the 3 big Microsoft properties, Steve is definitely third for me, but that doesn't mean I don't want him in Smash, it just means that he's third. But let's talk about if he was in Smash. I've also not been shy about my fear that the animations would look a bit amateurish if he was included and looked exactly like he does in Minecraft. People like to point to Mr. Game & Watch and his animations, but that gets definitely into the quirky and unique side of things where they tried to emulate the frames of the LCD screens for the Game & Watch series, and they accomplished that very well, and you can tell that that's what they were going for. But when it comes to Minecraft, it started out being sort of amateurish with the animations, and so if they were to try and emulate that, I would worry that it wouldn't look good. Not because it wouldn't look good, but because I would be worried that people would think that it was like an unfinished character or something. You know, I worry that if you stick Steve on Battlefield fighting against Mario and Ridley, he would just kind of look like an SFM character. He would just look bad. So if they put Steve in the game, I would hope that they would split the difference between Minecraft Steve and Super Smash Bros. You know, somewhere in the middle, you can tell that he's still moving a little stiffly, but he's not moving just like this. Because that's kind of how characters in Minecraft move, and that just would look super out of place in Smash to me. So I hope he's a bit more fluid. Don't make him too fluid so that he doesn't look like Steve anymore, but fluid enough that it just kind of fits well with the world of Smash, and I think that I would be happy. And that's all I'm gonna say on it because I know I've already pissed off some Steve fans. Lastly, I saw a bunch of Square Enix characters in the replies to my tweet. Sora, Geno, 2B from Nier Automata, Neku from The World Ends With You. These were all characters that had a ton of support. And that's not even including characters that are from pre-existing franchises already in Smash. Characters like Sephiroth. Final Fantasy has a bunch of games with a bunch of characters and a bunch of fans for all of those characters, so there's a lot of characters from Final Fantasy that could be added to Smash that saw support. But no matter who you want from Square, I think that that is absolutely valid because Square has a ton of cool properties with a ton of cool characters that all would feel right at home in Smash. And if you ask me, I would not be surprised at all if we saw another Square Enix character as a part of the second round of DLC fighters, because they, like I said, they just have so many good games. But I don't want to leave that conversation only to Twitter. So please leave me a comment down below letting me know who you want to see in Fighter Pass 2. And if it's a character that I didn't talk about in this video, perhaps it will be a character that I talk about in the next video. I'd like to do one that's based on the YouTube comments, because I did one on the Twitter side and it was super well received. So I would love to see what you guys say. Maybe see if Twitter and YouTube have different opinions. I don't know. We'll see, but I'd love for you to leave a comment down below. And that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, and I hope you have an awesome day.